Let's get into it. Episode 659 of the Soul Not For Sale podcast. Here with the wife.
Hello.
We're talking about robots. Mm-hmm. Joe Rogan is talking about robots. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to be playing this clip, right? I'm telling you and I'm telling her. I'm going to be playing this clip. I'm going to interrupt partway through because Joe Rogan talks about, you know, the terrible idea of a robot that we're going to discuss. And then also he touches on something before that I'm so annoyed with people saying, which is just like about AI and its inevitability. And it always just rubs me the wrong way hearing people talk like this, especially people who have so much influence. This is almost like his brand of being like Eddie Bravo. Eddie Bravo would talk about space being fake and Joe would get so upset. And this is like his version of that.
And you get upset with it?
It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. You know you're influencing millions of people when you say this stuff. Why would you say this? This doesn't make any sense to me at all. But let's get into it. How are you though, honey?
Good. How are you?
You good?
Yeah.
I'm glad you're good. I want to get right into that clip, I think. What do you think? You. I'm not asking the audience.
Oh, I think we should, go right into it.
All right, let's get right into it, guys. Let's go. Let's go over here. Pull up this. Bang. Let's get going. Bang. There we are. I like doing that now. It just kind of moves right into it. Let's start this clip off, guys. Joe Rogan sitting with the gentleman from Trigonometry talking about AI, robots, and how horrible it all is.
Star Wars. They never made anything better. Go back to like fucking Luke Skywalker, like the first movie, Star Wars, and then to the last movie. They basically have the same weapons.
Yeah.
Same fucking light speed capabilities, same problems with their spaceships. They didn't get any better. We get better constantly.
Yeah.
We're constantly obsessed with innovation. And if you just looked at the species as a whole, like what is it doing? It's making better stuff.
Yeah.
And even the things that are weird about it, like this desire for material possessions. Well, one of the things that does is it facilitates consumerism. Facilitates people buying things. That facilitates innovation. You got to sell more things to people. I got to get you to buy a new TV. You already have a TV. I got a better TV. And this is constant, whether it's computers or cars or whatever it is that we make. Everything's better. I think, and when you combine that with this new emergence of AI, and when you see what's possible with like quantum computing and what they're projecting for the implementation of that kind of technology, we're looking at another life form. We're like building another life form. We're going to build an artificial life form that's way superior to us. We're the electronic caterpillar that is building the cocoon.
And we're never going to be able to stop it because there was this document.
You can't stop it.
You can't stop it because there was this document that was signed. I think it was signed by Elon as well. It was requesting that there's a moratorium on AI.
Get the fuck out of here. You think China's going to sign that?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, do that. Go ahead, do that. We're like, it's a mad race, just like the fucking, the trying to figure out who makes the nuclear bomb first. It's a mad race.
Right.
Yeah. Because we know that if we don't do it, other people will, and then they will have the upper hand. And once another group has the upper hand over you, if you just look at history, it doesn't end well for the weaker group.
Yeah, especially with this one. If you could make a superior life form that can figure out how to, like, just think about what GPT can do in terms of like the average person with no coding just instantly make a website.
Yeah,
you could do so. You can get answers to problems. You instantly can get information and explain to you how to do very detailed and specific things like that. That's just the beginning. It's going to be so much better than you, and it's going to make a better version of it really quickly. If you give it the ability to create, I mean, why isn't that engineerable? It seems like it could. If you could engineer creativity into some super intelligent artificial thing that you've created, it seems like that's what we do. We just think we do all these other things because that moves us closer and closer towards this. But ultimately, when that does happen, all that other stuff will be bullshit. The pyramids, the fucking airplane, the invention of the iPhone, nonsense. It's all nonsense compared to this life form that we're about to make. So let us get caught up in fucking whether or not a trans person should be able to play in women's sports, or whether or not climate change is so real we need to bury trees. Let's pay attention to what's really going on. We're about to give birth to a fucking super intelligent life form. It's going to take over Earth, and we're either going to merge with it or going to be consumed by it.
Whoa.
You know what the Eater robot is? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
The Eater robot is, I think.
We're going to get into the Eater robot in a second, but that's the thing I don't like that he always talks about, how it's like inevitable. And you see how when he's talking to millions of people, he's saying you're either going to merge with it or be consumed by it.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a slight conflict of interest with the fact that he's friends with the guy that's trying to merge everybody with the technology. He's friends with Elon Musk, and he's telling us it's inevitable that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's just how it's going to be, and there's nothing we can do to stop
And
it.
they said right away that Elon Musk signed the moratorium for AI
Yeah.
to like slow it down.
Yeah, it's getting I don't know, that's just one thing he always says, and all that's going to be nonsense. The pyramids, this, that. These are things that we haven't even figured out. And for all we know are bigger technological advances than what AI will be. We have no idea. We don't even know what the pyramids were for.
It's true.
You have no idea. Could have been a communication, could have been a teleportation device, could have been so many different things. And he's just like, all that's going to be nonsense. And it's just something that I notice he does time and time again. He's
With
always
AI.
talking about how we're going to have no choice as people. And I think the same way a CNN anchor sitting there trying to push things into your mind with what they say, I feel like maybe it's unintentional because I love him. I love Joe Rogan. Maybe it's unintentional, but he's doing the same thing. He's pushing it into everybody's mind that you're not going to be strong enough to compete. You're not going to be smart enough to compete. It's going to be better than you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I just don't agree. Because he's saying it's like, this is the thing we're all building towards. I'm not building towards that.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't feel like anything I do is building towards that.
Yeah, like the average, well, not even the average person. Like I say 99% of the population does not.
7.9 billion people are not building towards that.
Yeah.
We have no interest in it.
Yeah, no.
We want to live. We want to live and have food that isn't spliced with all sorts of
Crazy
things.
stuff, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Printed.
It's just printed meat, like stuff like that. Like we're trying to live. A lot of us are just trying to just be people.
Yeah.
We're not trying to merge with it. And it's not inevitable. And my thing is always, if you are going to merge with it, leave the planet. Leave. Because you'd be our best bet to find another planet.
True.
If you're not going to need food and everything, like leave. And leave us here to just be people.
Yeah.
Right?
Interesting.
I don't know. That's what I think. It's just a thing that messes with me at times when I hear Joe say this. You get this unlikely, we talked about this before in another episode, you get this unlikely education with podcasts, and listening to someone so much, you start to learn a lot about them.
Yeah.
And you start to learn perspective around things they say. And that's one thing where I'm just like, I don't agree with this at all. I just don't agree with this.
You should go tell him.
One day, that'll be a point of our conversation when I'm on JRE episode. Guess it in the comments. What episode am I going to be on JRE?
I don't know what the number he's at.
I guess 26. No. I'm getting ahead of myself. 2890.
Yeah.
Episode 2890.
I would say 2888.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. 888.
But let's go on with this. Unless you have something to add to
No.
what he's about to talk about, let's get back into the clip.
Yeah.
All right, let's do
Into
it.
the eater robot.
Yes, the eater robot. That's what you're about to hear about now, ladies and gentlemen.
I think this is a DARPA program as well. They've developed a robot that is fueled by biological fuel, like biological waste, like bodies. Like you could use it on a battlefield, and it can consume bodies.
What?
Yeah, it consumes things for fuel. Yeah, it can consume plants, I think, too. But the implication is, when they said biological, I was like, oh, Jesus. Yeah. When you say biological, I don't think plants. I think like human beings, like dead bodies on a battlefield. Like if you have a robot that kills people and eats them, and that's how it fuels itself. You don't need to charge it. It just goes on whatever energy it extracts from consuming flesh.
I'm not an expert, Joe, but I can see how this could go wrong.
Pull up EATR. Pull up EATR robot.
Trying to find out if it was real or where
I think
we're
it's
at.
real, dude. I think it's real.
Well, the Wikipedia said everything you were saying, and then it also included chicken fat was labeled as.
Oh yeah, just chicken fat, guys.
Yeah.
It's just
not
chickens.
Dead people from
Yeah.
some fucking bomb we dropped.
Yeah.
The purpose of the energetically autonomous tactical robot Eater, just the fact they call it Eater, patent pending, guys. Hang on for that. We'll make a big announcement when the patent comes through. Project is developed and demonstrate an autonomous robot platform able to perform long-range, long-endurance missions without the need for manual or conventional refueling, which would otherwise preclude the ability of the robot to perform such missions. The system obtains its energy by foraging, engaging in biologically inspired organism-like energy harvesting behavior, which is the equivalent of eating. It fucking eats things. It can find, ingest, and extract energy from biomass in the environment and other organically based energy sources, as well as use conventional and alternative fuels such as gasoline. So it can eat everything. It eats everything. Gasoline, heavy fuel, kerosene, diesel, propane, coal, cooking oil, and solar when suitable. In addition to missions requiring long-range, long-endurance ability, the Eater can provide direct support to combat units without requiring labor or material logistic support for refueling because it eats the bodies on the field, kids.
But
At least it's
For
green.
for its own energy while the unit rested or remained in position.
say what you like about the Terminator, at least it didn't fucking eat you.
This is so crazy. What a good idea, though.
I mean,
It's a good idea because otherwise, like, those bodies are just going to sit there.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? You want to feed the wolves, feed the vultures, or feed your robots and win this fucking war, kids? Win this war for America.
It's the most uplifting episode of the Joe Rogan Experience
How wild is
ever.
that? How wild is that?
That's
a
fucking
real
wild.
thing.
That is.
But a good idea, right? If you were a sociopath, like that's. I mean, if you want to make a war machine, look. I shouldn't even say sociopath. If you want to make something that saves soldiers' lives, how about a fucking robot that fights and eats bodies?
But it comes to the point. It comes to the point, right?
Why don't we engineer werewolves? Why don't you like, let werewolves loose?
But you look at all of this stuff, and you then go, well, then what's the purpose of us?
Yeah.
You know, that's the fundamental question here. Because if the most important thing in life for any human being is to have a purpose, whatever that purpose is.
Why is that though?
Why is that? Because it gives you a reason to get up in the morning. It gives you a reason to do what you do. It gives you a reason to move forward. The worst thing for a human being to have is no purpose, to have a lack of purpose, because then you feel empty and hopeless.
Yeah,
Right.
we talk about a crisis of meaning in the West particularly. I mean, that's what it is, right? A lot of people not having purpose. And then it plays into what we were talking about earlier, which is you go on social media and you can attack somebody, and that gives you power, that gives you meaning.
Yeah, that is a thing that people connect themselves to. They get mean.
They get meaning from leaving mean comments. I've felt it and I've done it. I've done both. I've done both a lot. All right, so let's get into, we're going to have like another Joe Rogan clip. I actually have another that I'm going to play as well. Him and Russell Brand also talking about AI and robots and stuff. But what do you got? What do you got? What have you learned?
Yeah, so the Eater robot is basically, they don't say like exactly what it's for.
Okay.
It's just they say it's an autonomous tactical robot. And it's supposed to, like they said, feed on like plant matter. But then what threw me off specifically was that it can also consume chicken fat.
Yeah, that's a weird thing.
Yeah, because as soon as they said plant matter, I was like, okay, like it's not like they're people, like they don't just have digestive systems that can handle anything. Like it's probably very sensitive and can only do plant matter.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it said chicken fat, and I was like, oh, okay, well now everything's out the window.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you can digest some kind of animal material, you can digest all of it.
True.
So then it's like, there's no difference really between chicken fat and human fat.
No, especially not in that thing's eyes,
Yeah, no.
you know.
And if it's just looking for fuel to keep going.
It's gonna be eaten, you know, the assumption is dead bodies, but you know,
Yeah.
who knows?
You get what's available.
It depends what this thing looks like. Have you seen any pictures of what it looks like? I haven't seen any. I couldn't find any.
But it started like
Because
development
if it looks
in,
like a wood chipper,
2003.
oh god! If it's a wood chipper with hands, that's it.
I think it could probably get you.
Or if it's like the hungry hippos, it's just kind of.
Oh my god.
Just takes off half your body
Yeah.
real quick. Powers up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really
So there's like,
interesting.
I don't really know exactly
What
it's for, because there's like this picture of it like literally pulling a human in.
Oh yeah, see.
But is it for like recovery? Like, is that what they're trying to portray here?
I don't know what it is, but here's the thing with an eater robot. Okay, this is why this is nonsense. Okay, this is not looking for our benefit whatsoever. If there's a bunch of soldiers, what are they gonna do if you're going back and forth with people? You're in the battlefield. What are you trying to hide behind? Biological matter, trees, shrubs, bushes. So now this thing's eating it as it's going by, and now you're just out there. No, this is meant for humans. Obviously.
And it's against the Geneva Convention. So the Geneva Convention is like basically rules of war.
Oh, yes.
And rules of combat. Mm-hmm. And it's against the Geneva Convention to desecrate bodies.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
So they can't come out and say that this thing is going to be fueled by dead bodies because it would be a war crime.
Jeez. They're going to do away with all that pretty soon. They're already doing it slowly.
Yeah.
When it comes to what goes on in war. Interesting. Which clip would you like to see? Lex Fridman suggesting that he wants to touch robots, or Russell Brand talking about robots? Which one would you want to see first?
Russell Brand.
Russell Brand? Okay, let's go Russell Brand first. Lex Fridman has some odd ideas.
That's strange.
He's like, I just want to be able to touch it. He's like, and for some reason they fired me.
Oh my God.
It's a very interesting clip. But let's go with Russell Brand first, folks. Here it is.
One that I've ever read. I read about this thing that DARPA was putting together. It's a robot called the Eater robot, EATR robot. It's a robot that fuels itself on biological matter. So it essentially could eat bodies. So you've got a murderous robot that eats people.
It's like
That's its fuel.
Worst kind of things that human beings could achieve. It's like people are sat around trying to come up with them.
Well, they're responsible for a lot of really crazy innovation in terms of like military stuff. But Boston Dynamics, they're the ones that make those crazy robots, and they work with DARPA, and those are the ones that make those robots that you can't kick over.
Right.
That's what you need. One of those that eats people, and you send them to the battlefield.
Kick it over! No, that's the first thing we established, is you can't kick it over.
I just think that's the big fear, is that future warfare will be our robots versus their robots,
If we're starting to bring about the worst aspects, the worst things that a human being can conceive of, let's channel them through into reality. It does make you fear that the apocalypse is real. I thought it was bad enough when, in the malaise of my younger days, I thought, oh wow, imagine if there was a cleaning service where the person would come around and clean dressed scantily.
They do that.
They do that. Whatever devious shit you can dream up, someone's trying to turn a buck off it, and they've taken it to the extent of the non-kick-over robot, flesh-eating robots.
Yeah. What is this, Jamie? Is this a new one?
It's a new video today.
Oh, God.
Watch this.
This is so scary. Is this Boston Dynamics?
Yeah.
There's something very eerie about that type of motion. Like the way that the movement of a snake is deeply coded to be unpleasant when you see it. There's something about you think that movement, you think that ain't good.
Enter the truck it's towing.
Wow.
Oh my God, they're pulling a truck?
On its tiny little tootsies.
They're that strong they can pull a truck?
10 little robots.
That's a giant ass truck.
I mean, it is also just a husky sled made out of expensive robots and a truck. They've spent a lot of time and endeavour to go backwards.
I guess kinda, but
to an evil Santa Claus.
They're showing how strong these things are.
I don't like their gait, Joe. That's an unpleasant gait.
Yeah, you should be uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, I'm not at ease with that.
Well, it's not human, and it's not animal, and there's no compassion in it. It's feelingless. But that's what you got to worry about. You've ever seen that episode of Black Mirror where the lady gets chased down by the drones?
I've not seen that. What, the one where they're bees?
No, there's a woman who's being haunted. She's being hunted by a robot, and it's terrifying.
Because of its remorseless lack of humanity and empathy.
Looks just like that. Looks just like those things. Those are real.
Charlie Brooker, he's plugged into it. That man's got good imagination.
He's amazing. He's amazing. That show is fantastic. But these things, what we have to worry about is once artificial intelligence becomes sentient, and you can somehow or another attach it to these objects that move, and they run on solar power, or they have, nuclear fuel cells or some crazy shit that allows them to exist for a long period of time. I mean, you don't have to worry about them contaminating environments if you plan on killing everybody in the environment.
Oh man! And also, there's no means of regulation, is there? Because this is the apex of human endeavour. They're in what can govern that? What can regulate it? And like you say, there'll be a Chinese equivalent for any of this stuff. There's nothing that's above it going, is this a good idea? Should we pull back? What did Elon...
He just pulled up a thing that said they're making that now.
Yeah, we've got
that one I just
now.
showed you. 100 different models of it are going to be available starting production this summer. Doesn't say how much they're going to cost. But available for people to buy.
Well, it says 100 different models. It says produce 100 models. That probably means it'll produce 100 of them.
Mm-hmm. That's what you hope.
Yeah,
that's
right?
the hope.
I don't think so though.
But that's one thing I agree with Joe on. Obviously this is all coming to a point where they want to merge all this together.
Yeah.
They're going to merge it. They're not going to any robot that can be controlled, they're going to want it to be controlled by somebody who is integrated with Neuralink. Any robot that they have now, they're going to want it to have access to ChatGPT so they understand humans better, so they can interact with humans better. And to what that gentleman said on the other clip, where does that put us?
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Whenever I see like the videos of the robots doing crazy stuff and like backflips and things,
yeah,
I always have to remind myself that, okay, they are programmed literally exactly to do step by step what they're doing.
Yeah.
That there's no kind of thought behind it. Like it's not integrated yet.
Yeah.
But it will be.
But with ChatGPT, it would be.
Yeah.
They would think back to like the 1998 Olympics and they'd be like, yes, that, I'll do that.
Yeah. But like even more because it's a machine.
Yeah. They'll be like, I'll take this and this and this and this and I'll do all of this.
Like
And
the
then
mechanics of humans they could replicate.
And then the thing where they land on the head, I will land on the human's head. And he's 14 yards away.
Oh
I will
my
do
God.
that now. And that's it. They'll just be
crazy.
able to do it. But the thing about it is, with what Russell just said, it kind of triggered something in my head where the same thing when it comes to these laws that they pass, it's always for our convenience. And that's how they always push it to people. And then the older people gravitate towards it first because they're like, it's convenient.
Yeah.
And then the younger people who are really young, they're just like, whatever, it's convenient because they don't care. And then it's all the people who are kind of in the middle, like our age, that are like, wait a second, what?
Yeah.
Because you're old enough where you're like, I don't need things to be that convenient. You know? You're like, you're not so young that you're naive, and you're not so old that you really need more convenience.
Yeah.
And then we're the ones that are supposed to kind of stand up to it, but then, you know, you have your friends who may be lazy and just naive towards things. And
Yeah. I just
you
don't
have-
care.
Yeah, and then they just don't care, and it's like, I don't know. Everything, it's always positioned like this is going to be way safer for you and way easier for you. Mm-hmm. You know, like that's even what they're doing with self-driving cars right now.
True.
It's like, wouldn't you like to have a meeting inside your car while you're on the way to the...
No, I don't want to work anymore. Thanks. I'm good.
Exactly, right? Exactly. But to a young person, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to deal with meetings yet. So like,
True.
yeah, what do you
So
mean?
they're like, yeah, that's awesome.
I'll be like, just be able to chill?
No.
I'll be able to like roll a blunt or something while I'm on the way? Cool.
I liked what Russell Brand was saying too about not liking the gait of the robot, like how it moves.
Yeah.
Because I'm totally in agreement with that.
Yeah.
It's just freaky. It's like
It's
the
weird.
uncanny valley with like people and like dolls and robots and masks freaking people out.
Well, that and also the way he talked about the way it's like a snake
Yeah.
to us, and we know inherently that that's
Bad.
like you can show a baby a snake and a baby
Yeah.
will be like, oh no,
Exactly.
like that's a monster.
Yeah. Especially like we're in a part of the world where I think there's maybe one kind of poisonous snake. Like there
Yeah,
aren't
you
very
won't-
many.
yeah,
There
you
are
won't-
like, I think 1 or 2 poisonous spiders, but they're not very common.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's no reason for us to have an inherent fear. It's just like instinctual.
Yeah, you see it and you're just like, I don't want to risk it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And
That's
then when
freaky.
you talk about that gate, it's like that's the same thing that's triggering in us. Where
Yeah.
we're like, that's not right.
There's something weird about it.
That's unsafe.
Yeah.
That's not a friend.
No.
Yeah. Because you're used to your friend on 4.
Yeah,
like a dog.
like dogs, like
you know,
trotting
cats.
around.
You know, that's not a friend. That's something else.
No, it's
It's
creepy.
more authoritative.
Yes.
Because it's more like this.
It reminds me of like, have you ever seen those videos of like the Chinese army marching?
Yes.
And they're so precise.
Yes.
It's like if dogs were to do that, it would be like, what is happening? It's creepy.
We're a conservative couple. My wife is freaked out by Chinese armies.
If dogs were to do the same thing.
She's like, you know how when they get together. No, I know exactly what you mean. But yeah, it's very interesting to think about the eater robot, because all these things are going to come together.
Yeah.
Like the people who made the eater robot are working with Boston Dynamics. Boston Dynamics, their stuff can do backflips. Like it's all coming together. Eventually OpenAI is going to be like, yeah, we should do some work with Boston Dynamics. And don't worry, guys. It's just, we're not sure what it's going to do, but it's going to be fine. And it's just,
yeah,
it's all gearing up to one day it's just going to be, the government has purchased 50,000 robots and they could hold back 10 million people.
Yeah.
And that's what it's
and
going to
that's like the National Guard now.
That's the National Guard. New York's already doing that. You know that?
Yeah.
New York already has
seen.
robots. They're like R2-D2 type robots. They can't do anything, but still.
What do they do? Just surveil?
They can just like move around. They're like this tall.
Do they have cameras?
Yeah, they probably have like cameras, things like that.
Well, I guess they would need to be able to move around.
Yeah, so they can just move around.
Still weird. That would freak me out seeing that at night.
Right? Seeing that at night when you're out after curfew. and it scans you and it knows you haven't got all your shots yet.
Jeez. I was looking for the microchips.
But yeah, it's an interesting world we live in.
Yeah.
Interesting world. I got one more clip of Lex Fridman talking about wanting to touch robots. This is Joe's face already. What do you want to do? I wanted to touch it. I just wanted to touch it. And I don't understand why they wouldn't let me touch it.
I was going to bring it here, but I thought this is the wrong, the other robot I have is the wrong atmosphere.
Is it a Boston Dynamics one?
So I had a lot of, I've been closely working with Boston Dynamics, and how do I put it? I put a lot of my love into what they're doing for a few years. I love the engineers there. We're close. We like each other.
But I hear a but coming.
Let me politely say that, they're also a company that are trying to make money. And so there's a marketing team, there's PR, and they're starting getting in the way of engineers. And whenever marketing people get in the way of engineering, I'm out. And so there's a lot of robotics companies. It was kind of heartbreaking for me because how much I love that company.
In what way did they get in the way?
So very specifically, I'm interested in the problem of human-robot interaction, where there's this beautiful dance between a human and a robot. The same way you have a dog that you love playing with, there's a magic there. Like, I don't know, there's an excitement when Marshall looks at you and looks away and then looks at you again. And, like, just that excitement, I want to understand how we can engineer that into our AI systems. So that's called human-robot interaction. From a perspective of Boston Dynamics, they want a machine that doesn't have anything to do with humans. They want a machine that, like, patrols a factory looking for anything dangerous, or like does surveillance on a factory floor, or helps in dangerous environments where it's too dangerous for humans, so you want a robot to do the work. So that you want always there to be a distance between a human and a robot. For me, I'm interested in exploring when human and robot are close together, and I think that's actually really important to understand for safety as well. So robots should be able to detect and predict the movement of humans really well in order to avoid hurting them accidentally. Like, that's a robotics AI problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's predicting the movement of pedestrians, predicting the movement of humans, whether it's the human body or the human hand on the factory floor. You have to understand the mind of humans. They don't move like billiard balls. They move in unpredictable, complicated ways, or rather predictable but complicated ways. And that's the problem of human-robot interaction. I think is beautiful. Not very many people are really studying it carefully, and I wanted to study it carefully. One of the things I did, and you always learn this mistake the hard way, is I asked for permission on everything. The right way to do it is just to do it and apologize later. So
Permission for like what kind of actions?
so permission for the kind of things I wanted to do. So
Right.
I asked for permission to on video touch Spot.
Touch it.
Yeah, like as a human. So I wanted Spot to understand when a human touches and not, and using only vision, only
Right,
camera
because there's no
sensors.
sensors
There's
that can
no-
detect touch, right?
Right. So to have a sense where where gestures and touch can be part of the communication between the robot and the human. Telling them, the Boston Dynamics folks, that made them very nervous. They know I know what I'm doing, but they also know I'm starting to give less and less fucks. And they get nervous about that because they see the positivity. I love people. I love robots. I want to show the positive stuff. I want to inspire and educate the world.
What a weird dude.
I just want to touch. He's just coming into the office. Hey guys, can I touch? Oh God, he's gonna ask to touch the robots again. Lex, you can't touch the robots. I just want to touch. I just want him to know that I'm here. He knows. He's a robot. Please, Lex.
But it's also weird that you can't.
Well, that's the thing that you pointed out when we were watching that video. You're like, they always use a hockey stick.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to get too close.
Like he was I don't remember which clip it was, but there was someone talking about how Boston Analytics was the robot that you can't push over. But then in the clips, they always show like a guy poking at them with a hockey stick.
Yeah.
Because you can't actually touch them.
Yeah, this one. Here, I'll mute it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just he stays far away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he's like not even touching the robot there. He's just like using it, like pushing the box around with a stick. When he could do that with his foot easily, you know?
Yeah. Very,
He
very
never touches
interesting. Very interesting that they do not touch at all. Like as if something happened before.
Yeah. We do not touch the robots.
And Lex is just like, I think I can get close to it.
That's so strange.
So let me
But
interact.
it's talking about like he was talking about the interactions between a human and a dog and comparing it to that.
Yeah.
But robots don't have any kind of emotion centers
Yes.
like dogs do. So like I don't understand where he's coming from at all.
Yeah. At that point, you kind of have to wonder, is he comparing us to the dog or the robot? You know?
True.
Because we don't feel this. Well, I mean, some people do, but like, we definitely don't feel the same amount as a dog does. Like a dog looks at you like you're everything.
Yeah.
To a dog. But we don't look at dogs like that.
That's true.
Even people who love their dogs so much, they don't see it.
Yeah,
like that,
no.
You know? Interesting.
It's like their pet that they love, not their whole world.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, anything else? Do you have anything else?
Yeah, when the Eater robot was being developed, I think it was like 2003 or 2004, something like that, when they first started the project. There was also a different kind of robot that they were, like a different company was developing that eats flies.
Flies.
Yeah.
And it can track flies and grab them?
I don't know if it grabs them. It said it used human sewage to attract them.
Okay.
And then the flies would land on it, and it needed like a certain number of flies
To
to digest and like function.
Oh, okay, so it was like a Venus flytrap. Almost.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's so weird that it's like at
That's
the same
disgusting.
time. Exactly. It's
Yeah.
horrifying still. So then there's this robot that can do the same thing to like plant materials and chicken fat. And then another one to like flies. But it's
Yeah.
like, why are they doing so much based on digesting organisms?
That's right. Why are they doing any of it? It's almost like there's scientists that are working on this that are like, when we merge completely, what are we gonna digest?
Yeah.
It's almost like that's what they're thinking.
Ugh.
It's weird. It's very weird. Very, very odd. Because I guess they couldn't come outright and say food. Because if they were like, we're trying to make sure it can digest food, everybody would be like, what?
Yeah.
What about what? We're the ones that need food. What's going on?
Yeah, true.
I don't know. And it's weird, like solar? No? They're like, nah. We don't like that.
Well, I guess it's not like
It's weird.
the only source, solar.
Should be. That
Well,
should
it
be,
can't be.
Like if you're looking for a source, it should either be some Iron Man type of battery that's sitting in the chest, or it should be solar.
Yeah.
Everything else should be for us. Something. Or have it have a little extension cord and it has to plug into a wall.
That's so funny.
So we can keep an eye on these things.
Yeah.
I'm like, how far do we want these things to go? It's getting
True.
crazy.
Well, the whole point is that it runs by itself.
Yeah, right.
And it can do whatever, like surveillance and things.
It's ridiculous. It's really sad at the end of all this that there are people who really are invested in things like that taking over, and they're invested in the merge happening.
Yeah.
And they want to merge, and they don't care about being human, and they don't care about who wants to be human and who doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's the really sad and kind of infuriating thing to me.
And they never stop to think maybe it's not a great idea.
Yeah, exactly.
They just keep going for the sake of progress.
For the sake of how they deem progress.
Yeah.
know? Very weird. Anyways, what else?
I just want to talk about DARPA a little bit.
Oh, yeah. What about it?
So DARPA is who funded the Eater robot to begin with. And it's, oh my gosh, see if I can find the acronym again.
Oh, the...
For the DARPA acronym. I always forget what it is.
But it's the Eater. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically they work on defense technologies.
Yes.
So I have this article that was a bunch of different projects that DARPA was working on.
Oh, is it this one I have?
Yeah, you can pull that up.
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Yeah, and the very first one is plant-eating robots, and they were talking about it.
That's not cool.
Yeah, so that one's weird.
We completely understand the public's concern about futuristic robots feeding on the human population, but that is not our mission, says the CEO
of the company who made the robot.
Cyclone Power Technologies.
Yeah.
That is not our mission.
It's so weird that you would even have to say that statement.
Well, that should be a clue that you're not doing things completely right.
Yeah, that people are worried and maybe it's not the best thing.
And also, it's like, that's not our mission. They're not saying that it's off the table. It's just like, that's not what we're trying to do. But if that's like a byproduct of what happens, it's not the worst thing in the world, is it, folks?
Yeah.
Then what's the second one?
Houses that repair themselves.
That repair themselves.
Yeah, they're working on like different kind of building materials that if damaged will just kind of fill in.
Man, see, when I see stuff like that, I'm like, that's not, they're not making that for us.
No.
They're not making that for us and everybody that's watching. They're not thinking of us when they're making that.
Well, it freaked me out too because in this article it said they were using similar technologies as 3D printed organs and tissues from the body.
Yeah, see, what they're doing with this whole thing, that's going to be for like a parliament building.
Government buildings.
In case the ne'er-do-wells decide to throw things and do things to the building. That's what that's for. That's not for us. That's not for the regular guy who's at home.
Or like really rich people's houses.
Yeah. It's for the people who...
Banks.
It's for the people that the 99% will eventually come after.
Yeah.
That's who it's for. They're like, we need our houses to repair ourselves.
That's true.
We need places to hide. We need tunnels.
Yeah.
It's true.
And they said they could grow them on site. So instead of building a finished house, they just ship the like seeds almost, for lack of a better word, and just grow it there.
Huh, that's interesting. In Dragon Ball, that's what they have. There's a company, I forget what the company's called, but they'll have like seeds and they just throw them and
it goes into stuff.
It's just a house. It just
that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Funny.
Lab grown blood.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's a whole weird thing.
Well, I'm glad for that one. Give these demons something else to feed on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Watch all the missing people. Watch that number just drop.
Yeah, well,
as soon as it comes out.
Some people are purists, so.
Yeah, right. Instead of 800,000 people a year, it's just all of a sudden it's like 250,000.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Cyborg insects.
Yeah. Well, this one I feel like we knew.
This has been a big thing. This has been since I was small. I want to say like 13. We were hearing about possibly mosquitoes that would be robots, that would have cameras, that would be able to do things, inject them, like all sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah.
I've been hearing that for a while, and Bill Gates was like behind it.
Yeah, now what Bill Gates is saying, like, he wants them to
I've heard
the vaccine for malaria.
I've heard what he wants to do. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, he's so concerned about that.
Yeah.
Brain
but
implants.
It makes sense because it said it started in 2006, that project.
Yeah, exactly. Before that even.
Yeah.
Brain implants for PTSD. Yes. That's what it's going to be for. See, and even Elon Musk with the Neuralink, it's positioned as, no, this is going to help people walk again, help people see again. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not where you're stopping.
No.
Not at all. Not at all. Because you can't position it like this is going to help people walk again and like all these like disablements and ailments that they have, and then also say it's going to be a way for people to keep up with AI. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
Right? So in reality, this hasn't, again, byproduct. It might be able to do all that stuff, but really the end goal is having you be able to keep up with AI, and that keep up will eventually just be merging. Because how are you keeping up? You're keeping up with your own AI system.
Yeah.
That if that AI system is really as smart as everybody thinks it's going to be, then whatever's in you is going to be able to override you eventually.
True.
Because it's going to be your small brain thinking versus its massive interface. And it's going to be like, no, don't do that. You do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
what concerns me the most about that is that I think about like obviously they're trying to help soldiers. And PTSD is a huge thing for a lot of people.
Of course.
But then if they put an implant in, then all of a sudden they have all these soldiers who are back to active duty.
Yeah.
And have now chips in their brains so they can use them to control it.
Well, you know what? You know what's funny? Now that you bring that up, in Black Mirror, which they were talking about, there is an episode where the soldiers are fighting these like demon bug-like people.
Yeah.
Right? And they're fighting them and this and that. And one guy shorts out and he sees a person. And it switches to a person.
I remember that. Yeah.
Because they made sure that they could only see them as like these animals.
Yeah. They're projecting it. So it's like not.
Yeah. So it's not a person. So
Yeah.
they don't feel bad. So they're okay rallying against like these people that they're trying to like stomp out.
True.
That's what would be next for soldiers. 100%. And funny, and you know what's even scarier is that some soldiers, some people, and we're seeing that currently with everything that's going on war-wise, whether it be Ukraine, whether it be Israel, whatever, we're seeing that a lot of people don't even need that implant to see people that way.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people can just rally behind some religious ideas and just be like, this is fine.
Yeah, right.
God told me. It's the only implant I need. This is fine. This is from my teachings, from the books, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it's usually not from the books, though.
It's usually bent, you know?
Yeah.
It's bent. You know, it's in a book.
Yeah, it's someone's interpretation.
Yeah,
it's not actually from the book.
It might be from a book, but they're blanketing it in the wrong space.
Yeah.
You know? It's really interesting.
Yeah.
So, robotic infantry
mules.
There you go. Thank you.
Basically just carrying things.
Again, goes back to that convenience. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
No, it's just for you. So you don't have to carry things.
Yeah.
And then if you do the wrong thing, the thing just locks up all your food. You can't have the food in here, sorry.
True.
Your password's been overridden.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's really some guy with a chip on the other side of the field.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird world we're getting into.
Very weird.
Nuke-propelled spaceships.
I'm not surprised.
Something... Wait, hold on. This is something they're working on?
It's a project from 1958.
Okay.
So I don't think it's like
it's back when they were
active.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
when like nukes were a huge thing too.
Mechanical elephants? Well, that's going to happen. They're doing dogs.
Yeah.
They're just going to make it bigger.
That's basically like what we just saw the infantry mules too. Like just carrying stuff, big things.
Just make it much bigger.
Yeah.
And people are going to ride it. And they're going to smash through walls. And if you don't have those walls that repair themselves, you're screwed.
True. Yeah, it's like a tank.
Basically.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right, guys. If you have not liked the episode already, do it. Like the episode. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We're making 1 to 3 videos a day. And let me know in the comments what you think about everything that's going on. The robots, the projects that they're working on, the fact that they do not care whether or not you want this to be happening. How do you feel about it all? Let us know. And other than that, we're out.
Bye.